Danielle Grandinetti is an award-winning inspirational romance author fueled by tea, books, and the creative beauty of nature. Her stories combine romance, mystery, and suspense against the backdrop of the 1930s to tell the tale of finding home and hope in hard times. With a master's in communication and culture and a passion for intercultural communication, storytelling has been her heartbeat for as long as she can remember. Married to her own hero, Danielle is a second-generation Italian-American, a dairy farmer's granddaughter, and a boy mom from Chicagoland who now lives on Lake Michigan's Wisconsin shoreline. Danielle, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm excited to talk to you again and to hear a little bit about
Indeed.
your Christmas in the Cabin series. So could you tell us a little bit about it and what inspired those stories?
Absolutely. So the funny thing about these stories is they are completely for fun. I was writing at work, balancing, kids, and I'm like, I reached Christmas, and I love Christmas. I love Christmas stories. Readers who followed my blog for a while know that I stockpile Christmas novellas for the month of December, and I just binge read Christmas for a month. It's great.
Yes.
Uh, So I'm like, you know what? What if I wrote one? I'd written one for my Harvard and Crow's Nest series, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to write a short Christmas novella that I'm not going to worry about anything. Like it's for me, and if my readers love it, it's because they found that I loved it. And if they don't, there's no pressure. I'm not going to really work on like marketing and like trying to sell them. They're very much just for me. And I fell in love with the stories. So I decided to write a whole series of them, and it's truly something I do for me. And I set aside, it takes me like a week over Christmas break to sit and I just tell myself a story. And
Oh.
each of them are set around this isolated cabin in the North Woods of Wisconsin, hence Christmas cabin and, you know, Christmas miracles that always happen around this particular cabin.
Oh, that sounds very intriguing.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I love a good Christmas novella and I
Hmm.
stockpile them as well.
They're
It's the
great.
best. It is the best. And honestly, there's not a bad time to read a Christmas novella,
Mm-mm.
especially when I call it sweaty season here. I'm in Florida,
Hmm.
and so
Oh,
we've already got it. So a
it's
Christmas novella sounds perfect
it's
right now.
still you can get away with a flannel shirt here in Wisconsin. So
Well, I'll be picking up Christmas books very soon, I'm sure.
that's but that's also why I decided to release my books in July with Christmas in July because yeah, Christmas in July is a thing and but I am also
Absolutely.
not competing with all the other Christmas books. I'm like, you know what? Christmas in July, it's fun, it's light, and if
Absolutely.
readers want to read it in July for sweaty weather, works great too.
Absolutely.
Or stockpile it, that works.
Yeah, either way, you've got
Yep.
like 6 months of hearing
Yep.
about this amazing series before Christmas rolls around. Well, tell me what you love about writing historical romantic suspense. And specifically, I'm intrigued to learn why you like writing about the 1930s.
So I grew up on stories from my Italian grandma. She grew up in the Italian area, one of the Italian villages in Chicago during the 20s and 30s. So as you can imagine, being Italian in Chicago during that era, I grew up on all those stories and just became fascinated with it. I didn't realize I was going to write in the era until I wrote A Strike to the Heart, which is set around the 1933 dairy strikes. I had written it as a contemporary story, then stumbled on the dairy strikes that happened, and the story just became what it is. And I fell in love with writing the era. I'd already been fascinated by it and the history, and I just kept going. And now it's my thing, and I love it. And there's so much there, so
I
much
love that you're doing
drama.
this because historical fiction, historical romance, there's so much World War II, there's so
Hmm.
much Civil War, but some of these eras are forgotten. I
Hmm.
like to write 1910s,
Hmm.
1920s, cover World War
Yeah.
One. It's such
Yep.
so much was happening in our country, especially during that
Right.
time, and there's so many stories untold.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, I
So
love
much
that you're
happened.
doing that. What are you
Thanks.
working on next?
So my next book is also takes us to the 1930s. It is a Hansel and Gretel retelling, actually. It's only
Fun.
my second retelling. My first one released in February. But this one is part of a tea tale series that will tell more about, it's a multi-author series. And let's see, in July will be right around when the cover releases or cover reveals happen. So, yeah, if you follow me, I can tell you more about that then. That's what I'm writing now, but mine won't release until November.
How fun. I
I'm
think
having fun with
retellings
it.
are so great.
They're fun. And Hansel and Gretel, like, yes, it's brother and sister, but the original title was Little Brother, Little Sister. And so I'm doing a play on the romance of his boss's little sister and
Oh, very
making it into a
fun.
romance and the sweets and the, you know, it's
Yeah.
fun.
Well, I think most retellings tend to hear are like Cinderella or,
Hmm. Yep.
Rapunzel. So Hansel and Gretel retelling should be really
Yeah, I
interesting, really
know. I know. I'm
fun.
having fun with it.
I'm sure you are. How has your faith impacted your writing?
This is a great question, and I tried to weave that into even my bio of finding hope in hard times, like writing in the 1930s. There's so much desperation that hope is a natural outpouring in it, and we need hope now. Like it doesn't matter, what's going on in the world in our own lives, like to be able to have the hope and for me to be able to infuse my books with the fact that God loves you. Like I want readers to walk away with the hope that they are loved and the hope that there is light, no matter how dark the world happens to be. So
Yeah,
that's
I love that.
that's my heart in my writing.
And I'm sure um, God just honors that and gives you
Hope
all these
so.
fun, creative stories.
Thank you.
Course. So now we're going to jump into
Hmm.
our lightning round, and I always joke that it never goes lightning fast because we are authors and we have lots of words. So we're just
Absolutely.
gonna go through them and see what happens. And some of them are very deep personal questions, like the first one,
Okay.
which is what is your favorite sandwich?
Oh boy, this is a great debate. I'm gonna say, well, if my husband's making it, then I'm gonna say grilled cheese. He makes the best grilled cheese.
Yum.
It's hands down amazing. Oh.
There you go.
But he also makes really good BLTs and sandwiches, and you see a pattern here.
I see a pattern. He really is the hero of your story, isn't
Hmm.
he? Well, what's a new to you author that you've recently enjoyed?
Um, Courtney Wolf. I don't usually read rom-coms. Like
Mhm.
I'm a historical romance. I love suspense, but I have had a couple of her books in my Kindle for a while, and I picked one up the other day, and I'm like, why have I waited so long?
I know,
Really
same,
good.
same. I'm a
Like,
historical romance girly. What am I
I
doing?
know,
Rom-coms. Loving them.
but
That's what
they're amazing.
I'm
Yes,
doing. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
definitely early bird. I am a morning person. I turn into a pumpkin earlier and earlier.
Would you rather have a personal chef or a maid?
I'm gonna say maid because
It sounds
cooking
like you
is my
have a
least.
personal chef.
I do a little bit, just a little bit. And he also makes a really mean steak. So now I'm
Ooh.
hungry though, so it's dinner time here.
Sorry, sorry. What's your favorite classical book or story?
My favorite classic is The Tale of Two Cities by Dickens. I am a big Dickens fan. Probably why I write, again, I write historical, the 1930s, that same like gritty, um, finding hope in the hard times kind of things.
Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
yeah, Tale of Two Cities.
Definite classic.
Hmm.
What was your favorite book as a child?
Ooh, this one's a lot harder. Um, because I read so much. My mom read to us as kids. Um, my favorite series as a kid was The Adventures in the North Woods. I read it more in like junior high age, that roundabout there. So it's not kid book.
But
But it was set in the early 1900s. Swedish, she was an Irish immigrant. Her mom married into a Swedish farm family in Wisconsin in the North Woods. And there was mystery and a little bit of, junior high romance-y, crushes kind of thing, which
right.
was awesome. And I love them. There was like 10 books. I mean, they're pretty old now, but I love them.
Very fun. I actually don't recall ever hearing that series. So
Hmm.
I'll have to look it up because,
It's good.
yeah. If you could go on vacation tomorrow, where would you go?
Oh, somewhere nice and quiet. And if there's mountains or a mountain lake, some trees, some woods in the middle of nowhere. Sounds amazing.
Sounds great. I'll meet you there.
So you know your mom when.
Exactly. When the goal is quiet.
Yes.
What is one goal that you're currently working on?
One goal. At the moment, finishing my book because I have a deadline at the end of the month. So that feels like a very all-encompassing goal. I think another goal would be um, to make sure that I'm making balanced time for my writing because writing is it's more than a job. It's something that is for me too. Something that I do for my mental health and just for my spirit and making sure that I don't let the business of writing take over the
Yes.
actual writing. So
Yes.
I think that would be kind of an overarching goal that I always have to come back to and remind myself
It's a really
that
good
it's
goal to
important.
have and keep in the forefront of your mind. Yeah.
Yes.
What's your biggest literary dream?
Ooh, literary dream. Um, literary dream would be, hmm, literary dream.
Is there a bestsellers list that you'd love to be on, or to see your book made into a movie, or, all those big dreams we all have?
Yeah, yes. Honestly, I think it's like having being able to meet readers in person. I love in-person book events. I'm an introvert, but there's something about being able to interact with my readers and have that personal connection with them that I just love. Maybe it's the communication side of me that just
Yeah,
I just love that. So I think that's probably a dream is to be able to actually meet more and more of my readers in person.
I love that. That was so sweet.
Thanks.
It is really fun to connect with people, though. It brings meaning
Mm-hmm.
to what you're doing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that you like to do that's crafty or creative?
I do. I used to crochet. I've crocheted blankets and all sorts of things, but having two little boys, that doesn't work quite as well. I used to like cross stitch and all the crafty things, but
Mhm.
time's a factor. So right now I dabble in varying crafts when I have time, but I find gardening is actually my new crafty thing. Which just being my husband's the gardener, and so he's taught me a lot more about like how to grow my herb garden, and I love herb gardens and peppers and just there's something about new growth and new life and harvest time that just speaks to the soul.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but sometimes, and I think it is because of our love of history, it's
Hmm.
just something so personal and so what's the word? I don't know. I feel more connected to like my
Hmm.
my grandparents, and when I do
Yeah.
things like when I make the sourdough bread,
Yep.
or when
Yep.
I
Yep.
those
I
kinds of
make my
things.
my grandma's Italian sauce.
Yeah, it's just
Yep.
something about feeling connected to the past in a really
Yes.
meaningful way. And I'm sure gardening even
Same. Yep.
they
Yep.
go back to simple, go back to basic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Very
Okay.
much.
How do you organize your personal book collection? Or do
Well,
you?
you can see over my head. It's There is a method. I actually organize it by genre. So I scoot the that's my bookshelf over. I'm doing it right. Over there is my I reread those often, so that they have to be more accessible than climbing on the chair to reach, the ones up on my shelf, though. Climbing on a chair to reach those is not a big deal. I can still reach them.
It's fun.
But yeah, I organize by genre and then go from there.
I love it. Well, I think I know the answer to my next question, but we'll see. If you could go back in time and spend a day in any era, what year and location would you go to?
It would be really cool to go back to the 30s and like I don't know, my grandma and my grandma and grandpa were Italian and being able to interact with them. Like my grandpa was a milkman in Pennsylvania and he came over from Italy. So it would be cool to actually go to Italy in those early days and see what their village was like. Or my grandma on the other side, my grandma and grandpa were dairy farmers. So be able to see what the farm was like. I mean, pictures just don't do these things justice.
Oh, it'd be fun to see and interact and
Hmm.
live the life that they lived
Yeah,
alongside them.
right.
Yeah. What's your favorite dessert?
Oh, favorite dessert, dark chocolate and ice cream. Dark chocolate ice cream, if you combine the two, that is like the perfection right there.
Perfect. How do you pick names for your characters?
Um, so a variety of ways, and then I just kind of see what the name is really important because it has to match the character. If it doesn't match the character's personality, then it's just it's not right. So sometimes I start with the name and build the character. Sometimes I start with the character and then I just have to go digging for the right name. And that's, I'll use all the registries and all the like baby name books, but it's hard in the 1930s. So you're like, it's got to be, an old enough name. And,
Right.
then you start going through the Bible and trying to find biblical name and name generators. Sometimes I get so stuck, I'm like, I'll ask one of the AI things. I'm like, just
Yes.
the names. I'm like, help.
Help.
Just,
You're right, though,
and
because
eventually I find the right pairing
yes, they have to
that
be
matches
just
the
right. You
character.
can't just pick a
Right.
random name.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
agree.
It's probably one of the hardest parts of writing for me, actually.
And do you, or did you have any celebrity crushes as a kid or a teenager?
Didn't. Like I always like people will always ask that kind of question and I was never I was never a big crush person.
Nothing wrong with
So
that. Now you get to write all the crushes.
I do. So now I have fun.
Exactly. Who would you love to co-write a book with?
Oh, that is a question. I don't think I saw that one on your list to actually
Oh.
get
It was there, I
a
promise.
heads up. Probably distracted by something. Maybe the last question. Who would I co-write a book with? Oh, I don't know. I don't know
It's
who I
okay.
would pick.
We can edit that question right out.
Okay.
No problem. What is a book you're excited to read?
Book I'm excited to read. Um, so Rosanna White is my primary cover designer, and
Oh,
she has a book that's might be releasing about the time recording will go live or thereabouts, but it's The Collector of Burned Books. So it's a World War II, it's her first World War II, and it's about the Library of Burned Books in Paris during World War II, and I'm really excited to read that one.
yeah, that sounds like a very exciting book to
Hmm.
read. What's the most difficult part of the writing or publishing process for you as an author?
So besides picking names,
Yes.
besides picking names, I think the days leading up to a book launch. Like,
Mm.
there's so much excitement, um, but there's as especially because a lot of my books I independently publish, which means I'm also the publisher. There's a lot of details of having to make sure that the graphics are made and you get as many typos out as you can, and so it's just those little tiny details get very they they feel like little pinprick throughout the process, and you're like, I just want to be happy and excited and yay.
Yeah.
But there's all these little things. Whereas I love the actual writing of the story. Like it's the discovery of what happens in um, to the characters and what trouble I can get them in. Yeah, the actual like I laugh. I'm like I couldn't do this job without editors. Like I love editors because they catch all the mistakes and all the
Exactly.
they make my words look pretty.
What do you love most about being an author?
Um, Twofold. It's writing the story and discovering the characters and I know it's like disappearing into a whole world and I get to create it. That's just like really cool and really fun. I love that creativity and the imagination of that.
Yes.
But then on the flip side, you actually have readers who want to read these stories that I came up with in my head and getting to meet my readers and interact with them and hear what they think of the characters and which characters they love. Because, if I fell in love with them, did they fall in love with them too?
Right.
Like, I love the bookend of the writing process.
Love that. So, Danielle, where can our readers learn more about you?
Sure. My name is phonetic, Danielle Grandinetti, but you can just look me up online, DanielleGrandinnetti.com. All my books are there. You can find me in my newsletter there. You can find all my social links there. Um, I also have an author shop, which both of these books are available there. You can buy, if you're in the US, signed paperbacks straight from my website, um, and the ebooks as well, which work with all the different e-readers. So if you prefer that particular way, that works great. Otherwise, they're also on all the varying retailers. I try to make, and libraries. You can ask at the library too. I try to make them as widely available as I can because I just love putting books in people's hands.
And we're glad you're doing that. So, since you have the books handy, if you will
Mhm.
hold them up again, I will
Yes.
show you the
So this
jewelry I
is
made
the book one, book two,
and the
and they
earrings.
match the
Yeah.
all the evergreens.
In the little snowflakes. So,
Yes.
our followers can win a copy of your book, one of your
Hmm.
books,
Hmm.
as well as the pair of earrings. And all
Yep.
they have to do is follow us both on social, so on Facebook or Instagram. Follow
Excellent.
us both, and then they're going to see a giveaway
Hmm.
post. They just like the
Hmm.
post and comment done. It's that easy. So
Perfect.
this will go live on Monday, and then Wednesday night we will announce a winner.
Sounds wonderful. Excited. Thank
Danielle,
you.
thank you so much for being with me
Mhm.
this morning. It's so fun talking to you. Congratulations
Indeed.
on the books, and I'm
Thank
so excited to
you.
read the next ones.
Thank you. Excited too.